阳晒，三星都在等待。白记实业发大财，顺沙我超光速，送外卖也不辛苦，累计服务3万客户，奔波计无数。迪斯城好福地，勾勾手指又赚一笔新迪加，新机遇千万别把金币5成纸。米诺斯管理局年会庆典我高歌一曲，无限商机赚钱机器，投资共赢我只差你。想要你想得不能自已，为你我能卖掉狂热武器，真的好爱你，爱得死心塌地，为你我能抛弃一切过去。我真的想要你，要你陪我一起，没有你我就会化身死意。真的好爱你，爱得死心塌地，你又怎么忍心离我而去？
I actually don't care about Nibiru here. We'll be able to establish a very good board regardless from this. Yeah, they don't have any hand traps. They might be on board breakers. I didn't mean to actually summon something from the grave. Oh well. It's kind of a liability there. Potentially one less negate for us. But I can't convert it to anything now. God, game 2's gonna suck. Interesting. Okay, so I'm not sure if what I side deck in is gonna matter in the slightest. Should I try maxing out on non-engine? I'm getting hand looped. Call it just desserts for what I did on turn 1. Round 1. Again.
Full Blast restores your control.
Heartburn? While waiting on a plane during taxi till takeoff, looking out the window, you may have noticed the giant number numbering the runway, say 8, which implies 7 others exist, at least, but this is a flight out of LOL Airport in Nevada's desert of nothing. There's only 2 runways, which, given the passenger load, seems like maybe 1 too many already. What's the deal with runway numbers, you might wonder aloud? Oh, hello again. Flying to Nook as well, are you? It is a long flight, so there's tons of time for me to tell you all about runways. Let's begin. So, before you can number a runway at an airport, you need to build the airport. And before you can build the airport, you need to plan the port. And what needs figuring first is the way to run the way. Pilots want runways with winds in parallel for physics reasons that we are going to skip, both because lit physics is something people really like to argue about, and this isn't a physics video. Yeah, I'm recording a runway video right now, hope you don't mind. But the summary is planes take off and land into that lets them use less runway and makes for safer and stabler landings in particular. Now, planes can land with winds unaligned, but it's unsettling to watch these crosswind attempts as pilots do their best to face into the wind while landing on a runway that does not. Oof. So airports too want winds running with the runway, but the universe is indifferent to human desires. Wind winds as it wants, so the simple solution in aviation early days was to build a triangle of runways, put up a little windsock, and direct the planes to the runway that parallel the sock and thus the wind. But as aviation grew, so did airplanes, and thus their runways, making the triangle trick impractical for big urban internationals. But the simple sock still
from
follows.
Witchcraft?
So if you record when and which way the windsock blows and with what wind force, you've grown yourself a windrose, a clever little data viz tool with the sock in the center of compass points for orientation and bars colored and sized for strength and frequency of wind. Though it reads opposite actually of everyone's expectations, with the lines showing the way the wind blows from and not to. Physics
I'm not
stuff
saying
just
to read
loves
this any
to
longer.
opposite, actually. Let's just agree to avoid physics for this video, shall we? Windroses reverse readings aside, they reveal that in most places, most of the time, most of the wind mostly blows back and forth in one direction. So that's surprisingly convenient. Thanks, Indifferent Universe! Oh, you did it for other reasons? Well, still, this convenient wind happens because wind is a current of air, transporting heat from where there's more to where there's less. The Earth is blasted by the nuclear heat of the sun, with the equator getting hit hot hardest, making hot air rise there as it cools out along the edge of space before coming back down, creating a big-scale convection current that repeats in a pattern all up and down. And because the Earth is a sphere that spins, those cylindric convection currents of air on the surface twist clockwise north of the equator and counter below. This is the Coriolis effect, creating coiled currents of air everywhere, which is cool, but also physics trying to sneak back into the video, and this isn't a physics video. All that matters is this creates the pretty stable pattern of trade winds, and if you're planning a port, you need only know which way does the wind mostly blow. Though at some locations, the windrose reveals 2 frequent directions of wind, so if you want to constantly and safely keep open the airport, you're going to need to run a second way. This is why many airports have an X or V layout like LOL. They're not necessarily doing double the traffic of a one-runway port, but rather have double the chance of crosswinds when the tower will need to reroute pilots toward the other alignment for safer landings. And once you have 2 of something, you need names or numbers. Sure, you could just go with run 1 and run 2, but pro tip, try never to use the very first thing that comes to mind without giving it a bit of a ponder first, and the windrose reveals a better way with the compass points, which form a circle of 360 degrees, starting at 0 north, east 90, south 180, west 270, and back to north makes it 360 as well. These compass degrees come from ships of the seas, because captains and quartermasters, when in the vast, featureless nothing, could still count on their compass to point toward the North Pole, assuming no iron hooks happen nearby, and with north as a fixed navigational point, could then communicate their heading with names broadly, east,
Subtly
south,
telling
east, or north,
pirates
precisely.
depicted in fiction having hooks are
So it's
unrealistic.
no surprise these compass headings got passed from sea ships to airships. Thus, on the windrose devised plans for any airport, the runway is already aligned with navigational numbers begging to be used. But before grabbing the obvious one, again, ponder for a moment. The runway points from the perspective of the port toward the plane. The rather more important heading to use is from the plane's perspective approaching the port, which on the plan is at the opposite end actually, because it's what number matches the compass in the cockpit that's critical. Alright, this needs a couple of example airports. Take one with a north-south runway. When the wind blows from the north to the south, the tower directs pilots to approach from the south, meaning they need to point the plane north, which on their compass is a heading of 360 degrees. So let's put a big 360 on that end for now. When the wind's reverse, the tower directs pilots to approach from the north, to fly south, which reads 180, so let's put a big 180 on that end as well. Now that we've got our heading numbers,
I fucked up my combo.
Round them to 10 and cut off the 0 for the runway number, because we don't need 3 sig figs of precision when airports have single-digit numbers of runways, and the very stressed air traffic controllers in the tower need to repeat precisely these numbers hundreds of times a day, so saving syllables here really matters. Thus, when the tower tells the plane to use runway 36, the pilot knows they need to get south of the airport.
Now let's give them a card.
Facing north, and while there are
It might make their danger a little less
the pilot can
effective.
confirm they're doing it right by reading 360 on their ancient ancestors' compass. This low-tech check is useful as a fallback because a compass can see the way even when eyes and other equipment cannot. As a 2-runway example, an airport with a perfect ordinal X would get numbered thusly: northwest to southeast.
I think they went AFK.
One end,
Okay, good.
because that's the way the pilot needs to point, and 135 at the other. Round to 10 for 320 and 140, then drop the zeros to get runways 32 and 14. On the other side, 225 and 45, round to 10 again, drop the zeros for 23 and 5. Now, when the towers talk to the pilots, they say each digit individually, so runway 23, because clarity here is critical, which is also why the font and exact size of these digits is standardized worldwide. Though there are disagreements between the abundant aviation agencies as to if single-digit runways like 6 should have a leading 0 for clarity, or if that leading 0 should only be
nice.
which it shouldn't be. Anyway, that's the surprisingly good system behind numbering these numbers, which is always a delight to discover, unlike some other numbers I could mention, though there are a couple of wrinkles. For think about it, if the wind mostly blows back and forth in most places, then most big, busy, urban, international airports will need multiple runways in parallel. But parallel runways have the same heading, thus the same number under the system, which would be unclear for pilots to say the least. So all the agencies assembled to agree. If you have 2 parallel runways, they will have the
Probably
same
should have
number,
banished
but add
something.
an L or an R for left and right. If you need to construct a 3rd runway, add a C for center too. But with 4 or more, 2 runways will get the correct heading number with L and R, but the others, they're going to get the next closest numbers, but not exactly correct numbers.
Can you run Feedsmith with Dark
Practical, I
World?
suppose, but also, it's all slightly misaligned. It's big airports, like, it doesn't line up.
I kinda regret
Just try
going
not
for
to think about it,
vanities.
okay? Just try not to think about it. Oh, we're landing at Nook already? Wow, flights fly fast when you're flapping about flying. Time to put this knowledge to use. Our compass heading reads 42 degrees, so round to 10 for 40, cut the 0, and we'll be landing on runway 04. And since there's only one runway at Nook,
Why does it
it'll
say
be
2 days
perfectly
ago? This video.
It's the burger.
Fair enough. Hmm. Caesar.
The story of the nickel starts at the first U.S. mint founded in 1792, which produced these 5-cent pieces along with other coins, including a quarter, dime, penny, and a mystery coin we'll get back to later. Nickels weren't known as nickels then, because nickels weren't made of nickel yet. They started made of silver, mostly the same as the 10-cent dime, so this 5-cent coin was called the half a dime. But two forces conspired to ensure the proto-nickel wouldn't stay made of silver for long. First, the value of silver went up, and second, inflation pushed buying power down. By Civil War times, the lines crossed, and the value of silver in the 5-cent coin was greater than 5 cents. The coins were worth more dead than alive, so people melted them to sell the silver at a profit. To stop this, the mint switched from making the coin with silver super valuable to nickel not so much. They named it the nickel to make it clear that the coin wasn't worth melting down, and everything was fine, but only for a time, because, again, the value of the metal in the
Phantom Beast
go up while inflation pushed the buying power of 5 cents down, way down for the next century, until a nickel was worth nearly nothing compared to its silver start, and thus even the value of the nickel in the nickel grew greater than 5 cents. So again, people melted them down for profit. At this point in an economic world, the story
or chimeras rather.
here with the government realizing after 2 centuries of inflation, the coins weren't worth anything no more, and happy citizens were properly out of circulation. But instead, the government made melting U.S. coins illegal and continued to mint nickels at negative value. Currently, it takes 5.5 cents of nickel to make a 5-cent nickel. Bad enough, but the cost of creating a coin is not just in the metal to mint it, but also in running the means to print it. The molds, the machines, the manpower, the management. It all adds up to spending 14 cents to make a nickel, and the government makes $1.5 billion a year, which, doing the math, produced $75 million of nickels at a cost of $210 million, for a loss of about $135 million a year incurred by the government as it literally prints money. Which, if anything should be profitable, it's printing money. So if you are losing money, while this cannot be emphasized enough, literally printing money, you should literally stop. As with the 1-cent penny cost to make 2 cents. If killing a coin because it loses 1 cent to make is a good idea, then killing the nickel, which loses 9 cents per coin, is a better idea times 9. And it's not just about saving money, there's a better reason to get rid of it.
What?
It's no good at its only job, being money. Reminder, governments print physical money to make buying and selling stuff with cash easy for their citizens, but a bare minimum requires part of that cash to be worth handling, which back in the olden days, a nickel alone was valuable enough to buy stuff on its own. Nickelodeon
The second one isn't necessary.
Which got the name because the price of entry was a nickel. But that is a no more for sure. Now a nickel buys you nothing. Vending machines refuse to take them, so there's nowhere to spend them, leaving the nickel's only use for making
Vanishing about you,
but
good idea.
Fiddle to find a 5-cent piece in a pocket is probably net negative, and if there's a line, guaranteed net negative on everyone's time. So nickels have nothing going for them. They lose money in the making and lose money in the handling, making them make no sense as money at all. It's time to nix the nickel. But if you're worried cutting a coin could have consequences, no. America has done this before. The mystery coin mentioned at the start, that was the half cent. Seen one lately? Of course you haven't. It was discontinued in 1857 for being worth too little to bother with. But when the half cent met its fate, it had more buying power than today's dime. America seems to have forgotten that it's okay to stop making coins when they're no longer needed. succeeded. She did it with the half cent, and she also did it with the trime, a 3-cent coin, also never seen because once it solved the problems it was created to solve, that's a whole other story, America simply stopped making them. So if America could stop making the chime and the half cent without problem back then, America can stop making the half dime now too. Nix the nickel. The only effect will be rounding transactions to nearest 10, simplifying the change, saving time, while saving $135 billion a year to do so. Although, if you think about it, there would be one little quirk with getting rid of the nickel in a post-penny America, for only the quarter and dime would remain as common coins, and rounding cash transactions to the nearest 10 would make spending a single quarter or 3 quarters impossible, for they both end in 5, a ghost of the past. You could only actually spend quarters 2 at a time. Very strange, but try to fix that by rounding to the nearest 5, and that makes the amount under a quarter, 5 and 15, also impossible to pay. So what to do? There are options too. Option the first is just kill the quarter 2 and deal only with dimes. Maybe bring back the half dollar, nearly forgotten now, as it's minted in amounts only for numismatic pieces. With those 2 coins, all chains could round to 10 nice and tight. But boy would that be annoying, for the half dollar is huge and the dime tiny, almost the smallest coin ever minted, with the exception of the time from before. Partly killed for its annoying size, not that far off from the dime. So option the second is to keep the quarter. Not only is it the most American of coins, most countries divide their money by 50 to get 20, not 4s to get 25, so America is by far the biggest economy to have quarters. And quarters have gotten all the cool designs, probably because quarters are obviously the most useful coin by far, still just valuable enough for some small purchases, and accepted by billions of machines of all kinds. It's also the most cost-effective coin to make, so money can be made, literally making its money. How refreshing. The quarter is great, so what if instead, to straighten out this strange change, we, for once, try to solve a problem before it's a problem, and just ditch the dime ahead of its time? There's no need to wait until inflation drives the dime's value down until it's not just worthless, but worth less than 0. We can get ahead of the inevitable, and while ditching the penny and nickel, ditch the dime too. Keep only the quarter and have the world's best, most simple, uniquely American change system. And if your final worry is that rounding to 25 will be too big of a jump, again, back when the penny was first printed, it had more buying power than the quarter does today, at a time when all transactions had to be cash. So if it wasn't a problem then, it really won't be a problem now. So let's do solution the best. America keeps her quarters, but with the penny cast in prime, it's next up to nix the nickel, and maybe
Bruh, they just have all the recursion.
ditch the dime.
I don't think it matters what I banish here.
Oh hey, you made it to the end of the video past the fake end of the video. Welcome and congratulations! Since you're here, what started as a quick and easy update to my old Death to Pennies video,
They'll still have about
has
2.
been coming across a story where I couldn't stop myself. The Trine, the strange 3-cent coin mentioned in the video created to solve a triple threat to American currency security that I just had to write up into a bonus video, as a thank you to all of the Bonnie Bees who support this channel. If you're interested to find out why the Trine was created, what it had to do with the Spanish Empire and the mail, then you can click here to sign up to become a Bonnie Bee and find out.
I didn't
and
read
also get access
Cornfield.
to a whole other bunch of bonus content. Quarters are great, but do we even really need coins?
Chance of victory is unlikely. Let's prevent About You from resolving at the very least. Not the draw effect, but I meant the all of this. They have quite a lot of really good targets. Again, though, I'm most likely dead to rights. I wish I could play the Fiendsmith engine on Drytron. Ah, that's lethal. I don't play around Nibiru. Fuck. They didn't have it. This is guaranteed follow-up. Would've tried getting Kikinagashi no Fuko out. That was too risky. Why didn't they banish? One more. This is certainly a hand. Out of all the hands we've ever received, this is certainly one of them. Roll and lock, I knew it. Probably should have just stolen this immediately, but I don't know what they're playing. May as well get information, because I'm not likely to win this. They had two. There's no way they don't have anything. Why would they just kill their moon? Hey, look guys, he's doing a Yu-Gi-Oh thing. He's punching the moon. Yep, Divine Arsenal Zeus is a no-brainer. They would have figured out by now that I'm also running Super Poly. Yeah, holy shit. That moon of the closed heaven was their everything. Holy shit, they just had every Drolin lock. Oh, nice. Oh, really? Probably an imperm. Definitely an imperm. Let's see what they'll choose. Alright. A single unicorn no longer does anything. Yeah, go ahead, banish my second copy. I don't give a fuck. Literally 0 fucks given. I do kinda wanna bring back Roast Dragon. If they bring out you know who, there's no point in bluffing it out. If they do go for Caesar though, I can't bluff out and get my triple tactics thrust live that way. I think they're going for it. Also, who fucking plays 2 Lacrima?
Punong para alaga ang puso.
The thing is, their board doesn't actually have any monsters that can trigger. So, unless we genuinely had evenly matched, this will not do anything. Oh, thank you. Let's thrust right now. That's definitely an imperm over there then. I have no choice but to play into it though. An interesting decision. To fire off Desiree so quickly. Droplet. They don't have Nibiru, otherwise they would have fired it off long ago. I can negate whatever 2 combinations of cards they throw. Oh. That's certainly a choice. Alright, they have a spell they really want to activate. Nope. Okay then, it was just a Desperado. Don't care. Might be playing into a triple attack here. Nope. One more match, win, and we go to gold. Things are hardly ever that simple though. Oh damn, my face cam was off the entire time. My bad. Oh well, it's not like I was making any good faces.